Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends at yarnspirations.com and Ned, they're knitting pattern today that's considered easy. Have you seen this design online? It's actually really neat, and it's using Caron Colorama O'Go. So we're just going to use one O'Go. It can make two hats. The first hat here is color played, and you'll see that in the instructions. So you'll see when to stop colors in order to make it happen. The second one is using the leftover O'Go yarns that you have. One of the things I did is that it doesn't tell you what color is which when it comes to this kind of concept. It's just like A, B, or C. You can see that here. But when you change the brand like this, I don't know what color is which. So what I did is that I wrote from A, B, C, D, and E, and I looked at the color and I kind of guessed what it is because they don't tell you what those colors are. So here would be a grape purple that you see here, and then like a watered down grape. I kind of named it stuff that I would recognize later. So as the pattern is changing its colors, I'm going to be following that color scheme for myself. And if you prefer not to change your colors as per what it says, you can still do this concept in order to make it a lot of fun. You'll be using a 6.5 millimeter size US 10.5 and circular knitting needles. It says that it's 16 inches, which is the tip to the tip that you have. And then once it gets to a certain size, we're going to need double pointed needles in order to close it off at the top. So you'll switch on over. You can have other brands, but make sure that the size is the same. So what I'm going to do is that because this is a knit tutorial, it takes me a lot longer to be able to make this as a production. So I'm going to start this and just to see how it goes. There's some stuff I don't understand, and that's the whole point of tutorial work, is to understand it as I go. So really the fun action is on page number 2. So I'm going to do version 1 with all the color breakdowns, and version 2 is all the leftover shades, just letting it play itself out. So we're going to have to learn at this particular one how to change the yarn colors. I'll have to figure that out and then just follow the pattern as is. So you can do either 1 or 2, and I'm going to do number 1 because it's got more of the color play, which I think would be a better opportunity to learn. Okay, so let's begin our journey. Welcome to my channel. This is the Crochet Crowd, and I'm your host Mikey, and you're here with me on my journey of the yarn arts. If you like what you see, press the like button. You know what? I do like comments, so it helps me to know what to film next. So you can leave a comment, and best yet, you can subscribe to continue to follow along. We'll see you, and we'll get right to the video now. So to begin, I'm going to do version 1. We're going to do the first and second rounds here with the color B, whatever you decided was B. So we'll be doing that, and we're going to be joining E at the end of the second round. If you're doing version 2, you're going to choose your yarn that you want, leftover shades. It's leaving that to your choice. And then it says the first round is beginning the same as the other one, and you'll repeat the last round that you'll have until the work is 5 inches tall. So because there's color play in this one and not necessarily in this one, this is why we're going to have to follow the different ideas. Let's begin cast on process. It's the same for both. To begin, I'm going to do a long tail cast on, and what I'm going to do is pull the yarn from the yarn ball, and I'm going to pull it a whole distance. So if I was to do a yawn, I would pull it out, and I'm going to do that twice. So just hand stretched, and it's going to be roughly around here. So you may have some waste left over, but just throw that out. It's better to have that than having to restart. I want to create a slip knot. So we're going to create a slip knot right where we are. This is an easy level, so I'm going to skip some of the basics of knitting. Once we're going to do this, we need to cast on a total of 64 stitches, and I'm going to use my circulars for that. Put your 2 circulars together like this, and what we're going to do is going to use the distance of 2 of them so that we can at least get our stitches all the way around the circular needles. And you're going to slide your slip knot on. Okay, keep everything, and then pull snug. Okay, and now we're going to begin the cast on process. I'm going to do it with the long tail cast on method, going around the 2 needles. So how you do that, you can put your hand down and then open up and turn your hand over and just use your 3 fingers and this one to kind of hold it like this. Okay, so this is, there's a video on this on YouTube as well for us. So just 2 needles, grab like that. It's creating a Y shape. Okay, so this is going on my lap, this is the tail, this is going to the ball. To cast on, you're going to go around both needles. So go to the palm, make sure both needles are caught, and then you're going to rotate your hand and flip the back over, and use your thumb, flip over. I'll demonstrate this several times, and then you're just going to pull things nice and tight. So there's 2 loops on here, so something is wrong because I just started this thing. So let's try again. It's better to show stuff like this in a tutorial, I think, because not everybody's going to be perfect the first time. So let's try again. So we're going to wrap, capturing both needles, wrap the back one, and then use your thumb to flip over. There should only be 1 loop there, so I did something wrong before. So then you reset, palm, capture, wrap, and with your thumb flip. So what I want to do is that I want to load these needles with more and more. And once there's enough loaded, I'm going to pull out one of the needles. And what this is doing is it's creating the loops to be wider so that the front section of the brim will be a little bit looser for you to access those stitches the first time. I prefer a twist and cast on method, but in hats like this, it's too tight of a process in order to start with your circulars. So you need something that's a little more relaxed, and this is how you do it. So continue to cast on, and after you get so many on here, you're going to remove just one of your needles. And so I'm going to pull the top one out, and just make sure you hold on to the bottom needle and the work so it doesn't slide with it, and then put this under here. Just put it in front, but it's on the bottom side. And then what's happening is that you are just making room so that when you're done all of this, that you have the needles are both clear from it. So only the work is only on one needle instead of both at the end. But this is giving you the distance that you want in order to have the relaxed formation. So continue to do this until you get to 64 stitches. Make sure you double count, maybe triple count, and then we're going to begin row number 1. Okay, I have triple counted 64. With knitting, I seem to be triple counting just to make sure because I get a little paranoid. Now with the long tail cast on, I would just leave about maybe 8 to 12 inches. And I'm just doing that so that I can just have that extra left over. We can secure that at any time, but I want to use that tail as the concept of knowing when I'm done around. So don't necessarily get rid of it, and it saves you from using stitch markers too. Let's begin, and let's prepare to knit in the round in the next clip. So right now you can tell that it doesn't go all the way around. There's some play in here. So with the twist and transfer cast on method I like, you would not be able to do what I'm about to show you. So the long tail cast on provides that extra space that you need, because you're going to notice that you can stretch this around. So right when we finished, it looks like this, but I want you to flip it upside down. So just take the whole thing and flip upside down so that the yarn is coming from the ball on this side. I'm right-handed. This is a right-handed tutorial. So the yarn is over here. And what I want to do is just here with the horseshoe shape, just kind of stretch it and make sure that it's not twisting in any weird way. So I have all the loops facing down towards the wire, and I can push it up onto the side. See the stretch? And you're going to notice after we get through at least the first round, or if not the second, it's going to stretch nice and equally around, and you keep going in a circle. But we have to get that established first. Let's begin round number 1. In round number 1, we want to start off with the knit stitch and then purl, knit and purl. That's what we're looking at on the pattern itself. So we want to do the knit stitch, and we're going to go into the very first one right here. Here's the trick though. This strand right here can lose its strength. It can be loose. So when we go to knit the very first one, we want to make sure that we continue to pull things tight, because you're now forming the first circle. So after you get it done, just pull, 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 get rid of any slack, and then you're going to purl the next one. So to do purl, you're going to put the yarn in front, and then keep the needles in front and purl. And also, because that's the second one, also pull that one a little bit tighter. So once we have this established, we can use the beginning strand to pull things tighter if we have to later, but it's a great starting point. So for this round, what we're going to do is that we're going to knit 1, K1 means knit 1, and then we're going to purl. So you're going to have to put the yarn in front first and then purl. And because we now have that strand holding down, this is always at the last stitch, so you'll be able to know when you're finished a stitch, or finished a round, essentially. Sorry about the dogs barking. So you have to get used to pushing the yarn up on this side, so the loop's up, and as you knit them or purled them, you need to start pushing down. And this whole thing is moving around in a circle, like very much like loom knitting, but on your circulars. And that's the whole point of using this, so that you don't end up with the back panel. So just get in the habit of pushing up and then pulling down in order to keep the rotation going around and around. So I'm coming around, and you can see it kind of looks a little bit too spaced. Don't worry about it. So I've learned that. So just continue to do your stitches. And the very last stitch, if you're keeping in count, should be a purl stitch. Okay, just make sure you keep that tail end out of the way. Make sure that everything is still in the same direction so that the bottom is all like a horseshoe. And you're gonna purl your last one. Okay, and therefore you know you've gone all the way around. So see the space that it's created? That's gonna close in, but you're also gonna use this strand here to be able to pull it tighter. Let's do row number 2. So row number 2 is just keeping in sync. We just purled out of the last round. So we're gonna just immediately start and knit the first one, and then purl and knit and purl. And you're gonna do round number 2 the same way. And you're going to notice that the ribbing effect of the brim is gonna start becoming obvious. Maybe not this round, but really soon. And when we come back around, we need to change the color over if you're doing that. And if you're doing the version 2, you're just going to keep this same idea going for 5 inches without changing. And that's something that you can decide for yourself. So I'll see you at the end of round number 2, and we'll change our colors as per version 1. I'm coming around number 2, and we're just gonna change our yarn color after this. So if you're doing version 2, you don't need to bother with this. And I'm looking to where this tail is coming out of, because that represents the last one. Okay, and the last one should be a purl if you're keeping count. Okay, and now we're ready for a new color. So what I want to do, I don't want to panic, but I want to trim this yarn first. Okay, so don't worry about that. Let it dangle. We're now going to grab our next color. In my case, I decided that I was going to do grape. So I already pre-assigned my colors. I just guessed what colors I wanted, and so now I'm actually finding out the order. So I'm going to go with this grape color, and I want to keep a long tail. And so when I go to start, remember that it's knit, purl. I'm going to use this. Do not create a slip knot like I tell you to do in crochet. You'll see that come through, and you're going to emotionally hurt yourself. So when you go to knit the first one, okay, you're just going to put a loop. Do not put a slip knot. And let it be generous so that you can use a tapestry needle later and loop it around the back end and pull through. Okay, and now just grab the strand that's going to the ball only. Let the straggler fall out of the way so you're not worrying about it. And you're going to continue to knit then with this color. Okay, so it's the same configuration. And as this thing is getting bigger, you're going to be able to notice the stitch work below, that if you're familiar with knitting, you can tell what is knit and what is purl. And if you're not sure, I can show you. So if I pull these stitches apart, do you see how there's a a horizontal line right there? This is a purl. There's no horizontal here, it's just looping. That's a knit. So it's a purl and knit. So if you can look to what that means, it'll make your life a lot easier instead of manically counting all the time. And so your brain through time will literally just do the knit and purl on its own. It takes time, I understand that. I'm less than 2 months into this whole journey, and I'm finding that it's becoming a lot more easier. Before, when I was doing knit and purl, I was finding that I was having to manically think about it, but now my hands just want to do the work, and I can verify based on the stitch work that this is a knit, okay? And then the other one has to be a purl based on the horizontal line. And that does change in time if you're doing different kinds of stitches. You know, the row below may not be so obvious, but because this is a rib stitch concept, it really becomes easy. So what I want you to do is, let's give you some instructions. You're going to repeat the constant going around and around for the version 1 until it measures 4 inches from the base here. So you're going to grab a tape measure, and you're going to continue until it's about 4 inches. So it's got a bit of a distance to go. And then if you're doing version 2, you're going to be repeating everything just around and around and around until it's 5 inches. And then it tells you then to change something from that point. So I'm going to continue to do version 1, and I will be back after 4 inches is complete, and I'm just going round and round with this new color. I'll see you back here in a few moments. So when I last left you, we were down here, and I did not want to touch any of this stuff until I was up here. So it's just been sitting on my lap, and I've been going in circles, and I actually did a YouTube Live while I was doing it, so just getting things done. So you'll notice that it looks kind of loose here. That's because when I last left you, I didn't have you secure in anything because I wanted to wait for more material so that I could hide in the loose ends better. And so what I wanted to do at this particular point is that I want to be able to kind of pull things more snug. Okay, so just pull those loose strands. Okay, and so you can pull it so that it will look pretty close to the way it should. I'm now going to take just the strand. I'm going to leave this strand here. If you want to mark the outside here with a stitch marker, you can. But what happens on this particular hat is that this will fold up when you go to wear as the brim. So what I want to do is I want to focus on this side for hiding in my loose ends. So I don't want it going on the other side because then you'll clearly see it. So I'm going to just stick with this side, and I'm going to put it through a tapestry needle to secure in this loose end. And if you want to wait, you can till later, but I'm going to do it now. And I want to kind of just match it and kind of pull things together. Okay. And when I pull on it, I don't want to change the shape of anything. And it's better if you can trap this within fibers of this side of the project. So if you go through, I'm just breaking apart the fibers itself. If you go through the whole project itself, you're going to see this strand being carried through, and that's what people are going to be looking at when they're standing behind you in the coffee shop. So I want to just drag it through. Okay. So I want to be kind of firm about it, but I don't want it to be to the point where it's going to look like a mess. I'm going to let it tie itself into a knot that will hold on to itself. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it through the stitch work again 3 more times. So you have to be conscious that when people are wearing your knit stuff, what side are they going to flip? Because of the length of this whole hat, the height, it always is going to have a brim. So if this was like a beanie formation, I would have favored the other side, the underside of this more. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't change anything here. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it one more time. Now we had the purple that I started, and I want to hide that in as well. So this kind of still looks a little bit sloppy, but I'm not going to worry about that to the end because I want to keep an eye on where this is. Now the purple is sitting on the other side here, so you can just use anything, but you can just force it through to this side. Okay. And I'm going to fasten this in again on this side. So when it goes up, you never see it. See what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do that now and just make sure when you pull on it, it looks like it belongs there, and really pay attention to this side the most. And therefore I'm gonna get rid of that. So I'll do that off camera and we'll continue along in the tutorial. So now I'm at the 4-inch mark for version number 1. For version number 5, it has to be at the 5-inch mark. So I'm going to have to change out my colors of yarn that I want, just like I did before. And again, I'm going to do several rounds before I come back and secure it in. So let me move on to the next color, and I'll read the instruction now. And it is saying with the color A is that you are going to do the last rounds until it gets to a total of 5 inches. So I'm going to switch over to the color A. So with the new color that you want to do is that you're going to start off, remember that when you start a new round, it's always the same. So you're going to knit, and you're just going to loop this around. Don't create a slip knot. I found early on, I mentioned it, that I learned the hard way. When you do a slip knot, that knot can fall out into the work itself, as far as like being very visual that it's there, and it's really quite ugly. So I'm going to use this yarn, and I'm going to trim the other purple yarn just long enough that I can get it through a tapestry needle and just let it hold. And now I'm going to work with the dedicated yarn. And now I'm going to continue to do my circles around, or circling around, until I get the whole project to be 5 inches from the very tip here up. And I'll be back in just a moment. So at this point of the tutorial, we're now going to move to proceed the pattern as follows. And so in version 1, it's actually a total of 20 rows that are here, plus this one here. So it's a total of 25 rows that make this up. For this one here, they're asking you to maintain the same instruction, but just until it measures 9 inches. Okay, you're changing the yarn as you see fit on version number 2. Then you can shape the top and etc. So what I want to do is I want to start with this. I'm trying to understand how this actually works, and we will work it out for this as we go. So I'm going to just test it and see if it makes any sense for me, and if it does, it'll be in the tutorial. So let's begin and start with the first row, or the first round. So let's get ready for the first round. So every time there's the first round, you have to do the following. So we're going to K3, so we're going to knit 3. Okay, so we just go in and knit 3. So we're going to do that, and that, and that. That's so technical today. And then it says knit 1, wrapping the yarn around twice. So when you go to knit this one, you're going to wrap once. Okay, make sure it goes down to the barrel. It's just easier for you later. And wrap twice. So make sure it goes right down so that you have the distance, and you'll pull those through. This will not count as 2 stitches. This is just holding just for this round. Okay, and then slide it down your barrel. So we want to repeat the same information going all the way around. Okay, so let's try again. So we're going to knit the next 3. So we're going to say 1, 2, and 3. And then it's knit 1, wrapping the yarn twice. So going in, wrap once and twice. Just push it down to the barrel so that you get the nice evenness, and then come down through and push. So in the future, when we see this on round number 2, it's going to look like there's 2 stitches there, but there's not, and you'll see that being more sensible. So go all the way around, so knit 3 times in a row, and then knit the next one, wrapping the yarn twice, and continue that same pattern around. So I've now just come around on round number 1, and the last one was that knit with the yarning over twice. So when you look at your knitting needles here, you will see that it's kind of grouped together in the sense of these here. Do you see them? They look a little bit weird because they're grouped together. Okay, so we got to make sure that we are paying attention to that. And so now we're going to start with our next steps. So round number 2, we're going to begin by starting and knitting the first 3. So it says K3, that's knit 3. So we have 1, 2. I'm not even sure you really need to keep count, but let's keep on going anyway. So knit 3 in a row. And then it says to do that information that looks like it's geometry. What is it? It's SL1PWYLB. That's slip 1 purlwise with the yarn in the back. So the yarn is already in the back, so you don't need to change the position of the yarn. And what they're asking us to do is just to slip purlwise. So you're just going to take this needle right here and grab the next one and just grab onto it and slip it over. And you're going to let both of them fall out. This loop here is what you're seeing in the project, and you're going to leave that loop on and continue the remaining. Okay, so you just immediately start, let that loop just sit where it is, and you're going to knit the next 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then the next one is slip stitch purlwise, so just come up to the first one and just with the yarns already in the back, so you don't need to worry about that, and just simply just slide it off, and both of the loops come with it to keep the long loop. Leave that on and continue along. So knit the next 3 and slip purlwise, and we'll be doing this for round number 2. So please continue around. So I'm here at the end of round number 2. So you have these long loops, and you're going to notice in the next 2 rounds is that we are not knitting with that at all. We're just taking it up with us to drag it up to give it the look. Honestly, it took me a long time to get my head wrapped around this thing. So this is a really neat idea. So let's move on to number 3 and 4. They're both the same rounds, and let's demonstrate that next. Number 3 and 4 are both the same. So you're just going to knit the first 3. Okay, and we have 1. And it's going to be kind of easy to tell which these stitches are if you don't want to excessively count, if you can look for it. So now, see this long one here? You're going to slip stitch it purlwise, so you're going to come in the top and just drag it with you. The yarn is already in the back side, so you don't got to worry about that. And just take it with you. And this takes that up another line, which is stretching it. So then you'll knit the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then this is the long one again. So just in the top end, just slide it off and then keep on going. So 1, 2, and 3. Next one, go in the top and slide off. Do this all the way around for round number 3, and I will meet you at the beginning of number 4 just to verify that you're doing it right, and we'll be right back in a moment. So continue around. Round number 4, you're simply just going to knit the first 3 just like you had been. So 1, 2, and 3. And the fourth one, you can see it, the long loop is almost more obvious. Again, slip stitch purlwise, just pull it off, and therefore continue again. So starting with the next 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch purlwise. The yarn's already at the back, so I don't need to worry about that. So just slip and do that all the way around. And then this next time in the next round, in round number 1, this loop is going to secure directly into the project, giving the look that it shows on the pattern. So continue the same manner going around for round number 4. I'm now at the end of round number 4. So what I'm going to do is take you to the worksheet now, and let's point out a few things before we continue. So here on the pattern, what's happened is that we want to continue the pattern, work A for 6 rows, then work B for 2 rows, work C for 10 rows, and work B for 2 rows. And what we need to do at this particular point is that we just need to keep this cycle going. Okay, so I'm going to check it off as I go. If you're doing version number 2 over here, it just says work the last 4 rounds, which this is, it's the same information, until it hits 9 inches tall. So if you want to change the colors at any point, that's up to you, but I'm going to continue that here. So let's do rounds number 1 through 4 one more time, just with you on camera, and let's continue. To begin round number 1 again, if you recall, you're going to knit the first 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to knit the next one, which will be the large loop. You're actually physically going to knit it this time, so come in and do the knit stitch with that. And you're going to wrap twice, okay? The only difference between the last time we did round number 1 is that it was a regular stitch, but in this case it was a larger loop, and you just pull through. And this loop that we're about to make here by wrapping it twice will loop into the other one that exists there already. Shove it down the barrel and then slide off. And now that loop is now holding. So you'll knit the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. You'll knit the next one, so this loop, so come in and knit, wrap twice. I haven't got that motion down pat yet, but I'll get there. And then just come through and knit and keep them both on there and slide down. So continue to do that. So knit the first 3, and then with the 4th one, just wrap twice and then knit that one and continue that around. I'm now at the end of number 1. I have things double wrapped, and now number 2 is just a matter of letting those loops really work well with each other. So let's begin round number 2. So you'll knit the first 3 like you normally did. So 1, 2, and 3. Then purl-wise, just go in the top and pull, and that will pull that double loop off together. And now that loop is inside this loop. And now you'll knit the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then slip stitch purl-wise through the top, just pull the first one off, and that will pull the second wrapping off as well. I find that last row is a little bit tight, so just make sure both of them come off, and now that loop is inside that loop, and continue to knit the next 3, and then stitch purl-wise, just like I had showed you, and do this for round number 2. I'm now at the end of number 2. So number 3, we're going to begin, and you're going to knit the first 3 again. So remember 3 and 4 are the same. So you knit the first 3, and then slip stitch purl-wise on the 4th one, and that's that long loop. So just go in the top and pull off, and then knit the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch purl-wise. So just in the top and pull. Okay, so do that around for number 3. I'm coming around on number 3 here, and I'm just going to do number 4, which is the same as number 3. So you're going to knit then the first 3, and then you are going to slip that loop one over, and then knit the next 3 and then slip. Please do this all the way around for round number 4. I've now just completed number 4. In the video description, you'll find time markers. Those are the video chapters, and you can scroll back to the first one that we have. So I will mark it saying you should start here, so it's without a lot of explanation. So go back. For those continuing along, what you can do is that you can follow the color sequence. So I've just now done rows 1 through 4 once again. So this is 4 rows out of the 6. So I'm going to do 2 more rows of A, then do 2 rows of B, and then 10 rows of C, and then B once again. So I'm just going to continue the sequence. So what I would think about doing is that I'm just going to say 1 and 2, that's row 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 that you have there, and then you're going to have 10 rows of this. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, and then the last one is 3 and 4. That's how I would do it if I were you. So I'll leave this in your capable hands, and next time I see you, we'll be shaping the top of the head next. And for those that are doing this side, it's just a matter of repeating those rounds until you get to about 9 inches. Again, end on a 4th round as being complete. I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I worked on this last night. It actually went so fast that I was done by 7 o'clock, and I don't film at nighttime, so I decided not to continue to film last night, so I'm back. So what we have here is that I've done the repeat all the way, and now we're ready to do the shaping of the top. So regardless if you did version 2, you'll be here, and version 1, we're obviously here. It's now time to pull out the bad boys, and this is called double pointed knitting needles, DPN, and I am very fortunate. I have 2 local independent yarn shops plus 2 other major retailers that carry yarn where I live, and so this is where I get the stuff. So I don't have an online source for you, and these here is a set of DPNs. So I'm going to pull those out. I'm going to keep this because these are how much is my at $15.20, so $15.20 Canadian. So that's what, $3 American. I'm kidding. It's probably around $10 American, something like that. So what we have is that I'm going to be transferring this product to these needles as I'm starting the first shaping of the round. And the reason for it is that the cord is too long in order for us to get narrow, so we have to transfer it to these. Also, I have changed the background to a towel because these things make noise on the table and it drives me absolutely up the wall. And so that's why the towel is down. So we're going to be right here shaping at the top. It says with D, so I'm going to change my color immediately. So I've already fastened off this color, and I'm going to be starting a new color, and we're going to start working our way. We have 9 rounds to do right to the end, And we're going to start transferring these loops onto these. So it's going to be in a configuration like this. There will be 4 altogether, something like that. And then you're going to knit with 1. And as you knit with 1, the 1 will run out of the stitches. So then you're just kind of changing them back and forth. So I'm not very good at the DPNs, but again, it's like a neutered dog here that you're watching today. So let's begin shaping at the top. Full transparency, I did make a mistake here. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And so you can see it's a different height. So if your eyes are drawn to that, it's probably because it was my mistake. So we're going to begin, and we're going to, instead of using this knitting needle here, we're going to be using our DPNs. So the fact is that we want to kind of divide the project into 4 pieces. So it's about 16 stitches per needle that we'll do. And we're going to follow the instructions. And what I would consider doing is watch these long loops and use that as your marker before you change over the knitting needle to a new one. So we're going to begin and start with our yarn. So let's bring that on camera. Again, don't do any loops or anything, like as far as like a, what is that called? Slip knot. And I want to start, and it says K2 together. So we want to use a DPN. And so instead of just knitting in the 1 like this, we're going to knit in the 2. It's going to be a little awkward as you begin. It's the same size needle, and you want to go into 2 in a knit formation. Okay, and I just want to loop that around. And bring it through and slide off. So now you just made 2 stitches into 1. You're then going to knit the next one. So I'm going to put this back into my hands properly, the yarn going to the yarn ball, and we're going to knit the next one. So we're just letting them transfer to this needle as we go. And now the next one, do you see it's the long one? So the next one here is that we are going to knit that one and wrapping the yarn twice. So we can continue to keep the long loops. So let's do the repeat again. So we're going to knit the next 2 together as 1. Keep moving the yarn, the loops up the needle, because you're basically going to be taking it off your double point or your circular needles as you go. So you're going to knit the next one here. It's 2 together. You're going to knit the next one, and your long loop is next. And when you knit that one, you have to make sure that you wrap the yarn twice to keep that loop moving up. So please repeat this all the way around. As soon as you get about a quarter of the project on, I would do it so that your long loop is the last thing onto your knitting needle before changing over. So I'll do a few more, and then I'll show you how to reset and get another needle ready for you, because we'll be using all of these in the end. So I've got about a quarter of the project on here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that ends with me doing that long loop with the double wrap, and I'm just going to slide off. So now I'm going to just let this go into about the middle point here, and I want to grab a fresh one and continue the pattern along. The goal here when you go to do this is that you have to keep your stitches tight, and this is where I struggle the most. So if you're struggling, you're in my club. So we're going to knit the next 2 together. We're keeping in the sequence, and we want to make sure that we pull it tight. So if you're not tight about it, that's where you have problems. And so you just got to work around that extra needle just to keep it out of your way. And I've been told that it's the second stitch that you want to really kind of pull on it as well. So that will really help. So you don't just pull on the first one, you pull on the second as well, and that should keep it relatively tight together. Then this is the long one, wrap twice, and then continue along. And again, it's about 16 stitches that you'll have, or whatever. Just make sure that you have a total of 4 of these double points that are holding the project. And even if the last one is a little bit less or a little bit more, it really doesn't matter so much, I think. But you'll find your balance as you go, especially if you're new. So continue the same sequence around. So I'm just finishing up the last one here. This is the last one on the circular needles. And I'm just going in, wrapping twice. If this feels awkward for you, you're in my club. It does feel weird, but you know, people at my Stitch Club seems to do this without any issues at all. So I just know I need practice. And now I can pull out the circular. We can leave those aside and retire those for the tutorial. And now the entire project is on 4 sets of these. So I want to make sure that it's not going to slide off. So if you want to just push them more towards the center, you can. So get in the habit of doing that. And I just roughly guessed when I needed to change. So you can see it's not totally equal. And I'll handle this loose end at the end. Let's move to row number 2. So I'm now going to start the next round, number 2. And let's just get this. So you need a fresh one. So it's your 5th one. And you're going to knit the first 2. And again, like I explained, when you do it, you have to pull that first one tight, but it's also the second one that you need to pull on. I got that tip from the market the other day. So just knit the first 2. And it's the second one that you really want to give it a good snug. And what you're doing is you're trying to get rid of the distance between the 2 of the jump. This will take a little bit of practice. You're then going to do that fancy purl with the slip stitch. Just grab the first one and move it on over. So there's your long loop for the future. And then you're going to knit the next 2. And as you finish one needle here, you're going to see that that one's free, and then you'll use that one to be your new knitting partner, I guess you can say. So just continue with the sequence. So we have less stitches to work with, so you'll find yourself getting around quicker, depending on how you can handle these double knits. So I used to teach loom knitting at one point, and one of the issues you have with loom knitting is that the loom knitting stuff, it doesn't decrease at all, where this hand knitting you can by the use of these. So it makes a bit of a difference. So it gives you more styling changes to be able to do this if you can get used to it. So continue to move around and just working your way through it. Okay, so this is the long loop, and you're going to pull off. So this one's now free. Center this out, and then use the new needle, change hands, and then begin the new sequence here with the new needle. And again, pull tight to close in the first one. So you do that, pull, pull, pull. So you'll knit the first 2, and it's the second one that you're knitting on your double points that you want to pull after it's done. So pull, 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 and then can slide the next one off. So do this around for round number 2. So I'm back around, and round number 2 is done, and I'm using my piece over here just to tell where I've gone all the way around. So let's begin rounds number 3 and 4. They're both the same. I'm just gonna quickly talk about it, and I'll just quickly demo, you know, you change in the needles you can do on your own. So you're going to knit the first 2. Okay, and just pull tight because you're changing over. So pull, 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 and do the second one and pull as well. I did something like this a few weeks ago, and it was so loose, it was unbelievable. Okay, so we got that, and then you just have to shift that over and then knit the next 2 and then shift over the long loop and do that. So you'll do this for rounds number 3 and 4. Please do both rounds, and we'll meet you up on number 5 in a moment. Let's begin round number 5. Round number 5, we're going to put the first 2 together, and then we're going to knit this one with that extra wrap like we always have been. So we're going to just stick into both that you have. I know I'm making these double points look harder than it probably is, but I'm new, so bear with it. So I want to slide those off, and I want to give it a good tug to tighten it. And then I'm going to then knit the next one. It's the long one. So I'm going to knit, and when I do that, I'm going to wrap twice. And that's going to be your sequence all the way around. Okay. So then you carry on to the next one, put the next two together. If you have tips for me, I'm all over tips, so make sure you leave those in the comments. The next one, you're gonna make a double wrap. Okay, and then that will form a new loop for next time. Please do this sequence all the way around for number 5. So just completed number 5. It was an awkward round, I'm not gonna deny it. So number 6, we're going to continue along in the journey and starting with the first one. So you're gonna knit the first one, and then you were going to do that, that slip stitch over. So you're just going to knit the first one. I find jumping over the needles is kind of hard. So if you have any tips for me, I'm all ears. Okay, so we're gonna get the first one, we're gonna knit the first one, and then this one here, we just have to slide. Okay, so we go under and slide, and that's your new long loop. Okay, so then you'll knit the next one, and this is considered the second stitch, so make sure you give it a good pull just to keep it tight between the double points. And then the next one, you just kind of go in and take it off. So do this all the way around. This is number 6. Okay, let's begin 7 and 8, and 7 and 8 are basically already what you know. And so you're just gonna start off, and you're gonna knit the first one and then slide the second one over. And both 7 and 8 are the same way. So we knit the first one, slide the next one, knit the next one, just give it a good tug just to tighten it. I'm not as afraid of the double points as I was at the beginning of this tutorial, so that's a good thing, right? Old dog is learning new tricks here on the Crochet Crowd. So I'm just knitting and then sliding the next one just to keep the looping going up. Please do this all the way around for both rounds 7 and 8, and then we'll be back for number 9, which will be the final and completion of today's hat. And finally, round number 9. Look at my tiny little hole. I can't say that every day. So, so let's begin the 9th and final round, and everything is going to be working of knit 2 together. So let's just start. And so you're going to put your 2 loops into the same one as a knit stitch, 2 together. And this is the very final round. So you're just gonna put through. Okay, and then give it a good tug. And then you'll put the next 2 together. Give it a good tug and do that all the way around, and I'll be right back at the end of the round. So we're now at the end of round number 9. So I'm now going to take the strand, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit longer than normal. And I want to be able to collect the stitches that are on the double points. Almost kills me to say that name. So it was really kind of harder near the end, but I think in practice you can get used to that. People do this stuff all the time, so I should quit my whining and keep on going. So what I want to do, I've ended here, so I'm going to use this needle, or this, yeah, it is a needle. I'm going to use this needle and collect these here. So you can collect 1 or 2 at a time. It's up to you, or you can do the whole thing. What the hell, right? And so you just want to collect and make sure that the yarn goes inside there. Once you're confirmed, slide out. Bam, there we go. Then we're going to turn and do the next set. The fact that I have 4 on each knitting needle is a complete fluke. Okay, and I'm gonna pull, and then once I confirm, out. So this strand here is preventing your entire work from falling apart, and for you not to have some birds, some cows, some kittens, and a really rotten day. So make sure that that goes through before you pull. Finally, last one is a charm. And therefore you've gone all the way around. Once you're at the here, you're gonna take this pucker and you're just gonna put your finger here, okay? And you're just gonna pull. So just kind of pull, 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 and let it just tighten onto itself. And look at that. So you can decide what you wanna do from this point. So what I like to do is that I like to go directly across for where it comes out. Okay, so going across. And then I like to then come in and cross over in the other direction. And I don't stay on this side for very long, okay, just enough to cross over once. I'm then going to take this and dive it down through the center, and I want to just put my hand inside and just feel for that needle to come through. And I want to make sure I get all the extra tail out of the top. I'm now going to turn this inside out. And right where it came out of the center is where I want to secure it. Okay, so then I don't need to secure it like crazy, but I just got to make sure it ties onto itself somewhere. And you may want to do it a couple times. Make sure you don't stick the needle all the way through, or I'm going to have to reach out and let my fingers do the walking somewhere. So I want to do that because you're going to ruin the outside of your project if you go all the way through. So just stay within the fibers here on the inside. And then you can trim your work from this point. Any loose ends that you will have had, and I had them right here near the end. I have this one when I changed over, and I also had that one that I was using as a marker every time I went around. So let me just secure this one in, because you've been watching that go in circles for like hours and hours and hours. And I just want to secure it in. So I'm just going to pull it through. When you secure this, don't do it to the point where it's going to change the look. And what I would honestly do too, make sure you turn this back with the outside out. And when you secure this, you want to favor the brim so that it's not going to be so visible. So I want to favor the back side here because of the way that it's turned up. Because of the length of it, it has to be a brim. So I'm going to just keep on weaving it through, and then I'm going to let it knot onto itself. Okay, make sure that you don't change the properties. Okay, and then once you finally got what you think, just weave in the tail just a few more times. And don't stick that needle all the way through, or again, you're gonna cause yourself to be having a headache. So now, you have to decide whether you're going to do a pom-pom or not. Any other loose ends, you wanna favor the inside, so I have loose ends here that I have to deal with after. And then, if you wanna put on a pom-pom, if you're selling at a craft show, people like the option whether they want to do a pom-pom or not. If you apply a pom-pom, a nice thing to do is to tie it with a bow tie on the inside. So attach a strand to the pom-pom and then just pull it through and then tie it with a bow tie. So if they don't like the pom-pom, you could just undo the bow tie and they say, hey, look, the hat doesn't have a pom-pom. But life's too short not to have a pom-pom. But this is a really fun hat. So I'm pretty excited, and I might just put a pre-made pom-pom in there because, you know what, life is short, too short not to have a pom-pom. Have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.